Rapists and kidnappers. Does the state of Ohio have the right to take a life?
Now, polls show that Ohioans overwhelmingly support capital punishment. So why hasn't it been used more, and why hasn't it been used in more than 3 decades? Well, tonight, Colleen begins a special report, and it begins on death row.
And you know, the American Bar Association is now saying that Ohio's death penalty is unfair. The state attorney general says it is ineffective. The men sitting on death row say it is unjust, and crime victims and the public say it is long overdue. Right now in Ohio, there are 171 dead men waiting.
If I was the first one to go, I figured I would take the electric chair because I would want to be a martyr. And I would want to go in the most horrific way that I could go.
I'm not here to paint pretty pictures or anything. I'm guilty of what I've done. Maybe not in the state of Ohio, but if you group all of my crimes together, I'm willing to pay for it. If this is what they say that justice is, then let's do it.
Would you rather have the injection or the electric chair?
I think that'd be suicide because you'd be picking one death or the other. I consider that suicide. They'll have to make that decision, whoever kills me.
These are dead men waiting. They live their lives in chains and cages, waiting for the state of Ohio to tell them it's their day to die. There are a lot of people who say that day came and went a long time ago.
Right now, it means nothing. All it is something on the books that is being laughed at by the public.
Do you ever think about what's going to be going through your mind when it's you who's being led away?
I'm going to be thinking about my brothers here on death row, how they're going to be feeling, losing me. So that's probably what I'll be thinking, because I have no fear of death. In a way, I kind of look forward to it, because for me, it'd be like starting a new life again.
It's been 34 years since an Ohio prisoner was led away to die. That's when murderer Donald Reinbold was strapped into the electric chair at the old Ohio pen. No one then could have predicted the long and winding road capital punishment was about to take. In 1972, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled it cruel and unusual punishment. That got every man and woman on death row in America off the hook. And nothing made people angrier than the fact that Charles Manson was among them. In '74, Ohio tried to put together a death penalty the High Court would accept. It was rejected in '78, and that meant 100 dead men waiting in Ohio got new leases on life. In 1981, the state finally came up with something the Supreme Court could buy. It separates the conviction and sentencing phases of a murder case and requires a long, long appeals process.
The public out there blames us for extending our appeals over and over and over and saying we're slow walking, we're dragging our feet and everything else. That's not true. That's not true. They're forcing us to have our appeals. They're forcing us. They're saying you must appeal this case. Well, if that's the case, what is wrong with the system that they're making us check their system over again?
It takes so long because the Supreme Court has said that we're not going to just let you do the death penalty willy-nilly. You can only do it if you adhere to certain rather rigorous standards. I would estimate that 15, 20 people on death row are factually innocent. These are heinous crimes. People are emotionally involved. They see a horrible death of some kind, and my gosh, they want to do something about it.
When you say 20 people, 15, 20 people on death row factually innocent.
They didn't do it.
My mother raised me saying, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Dick Celeste may be a death penalty opponent, but he is also a politician. That's why in his final days in Ohio's governor's office, he commuted the sentences of 8 death row prisoners, all 4 women who were waiting to die, and the 4 men who were closest to exhausting their appeals. That wasn't everyone on death row, but Celeste thought it was enough to open the debate.
I think it's morally wrong in a society to, in effect, set the example of killing, even though the people we're executing have committed terrible, terrible crimes. I don't think that makes it right. When you commute a sentence from death to life without parole, it's a bleak sentence. And in fact, one of the men who sentenced it, I commuted, asked to be executed. He said he didn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison.
When you're a grown adult and being told when you can do this, when you can do that, that's more punishment than executing us tomorrow. because tomorrow there's no more. You can't hurt me anymore after tomorrow.
And yet, like nearly every other inmate on death row, Fred Treesh is appealing his conviction. He says he is doing that because his family wants him to fight for his life. Only one man on death row is asking to be executed, Wilfred Berry. But the state public defender continues to appeal Berry's case because there are questions about his sanity. Tonight at 6, a surprising admission from Governor Celeste, who says he does have one big regret about commuting those sentences. Much more from death row convicts and a look at the death penalty from the point of view of the victims' families. And then at 11, we are going to take you onto death row and let you see what life is like there.
Interesting.
Oh, great.
Thanks, Kelly.